Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks I've been using throughout the week. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, what do you think of my notion of a superpower that you may have? Or do you have a different superpower? Let us know down in the comments. So let's take a look at some pens. These are the pens I've been using this week, with one slight cheat because this one's almost empty. So, from left to right, we have the Parker Sonnet, we have the Platinum Curidas, we have the Platinum 3776, we have a Montblanc 146, nope, not a 149, sorry. We have a Toes Penkala Goldy, don't know where Golda came from. Conklin Word Gauge, Lamy All-Star, and a Platinum Izumo. As always, this will be recorded in a cognitive surplus theory notebook. So, as you may be able to tell, I didn't write the date with this pen. So this pen has been my daily writer. I've been just going through different fun daily writer type pens as I'm trying to use up the last of my Omas black. I'll show you a view of the bottle when we go back to my face, but this is the Parker Sonnet. It is, I think, a very attractive pen. Simple, plain. Oh, and it's out of ink. I thought I had saved enough ink for this video. Let's see if I can force the converter down and just get a little ink into it, just enough to write with. Well, maybe. So this is the Parker Sonnet. This has a fine point nib on it, and the ink is Omas black. And the pen is empty. It is running on fumes. I enjoy this one as a daily writer because it's a nice snap cap type of pen. That's what I want at work. Now when I'm home doing a long writing session, note-taking and stuff, often I want just a good pen to hold, and I don't care because I'm not capping and uncapping that much. But at work, a pen that I can cap and uncap just makes more sense for how I operate at work. And this one makes a lot of sense at work. Might make sense to you if it ever comes into focus. Wow, and it was there, and then she's gone. So yeah, this is the Parker Sonnet. Yep, we're giving up. Okay, I tried. I really tried. All right, my next pen, which seems to have dried up a little bit this week. This is the Platinum Curidas. At the moment, probably my favorite retractable pen. But I've got a Rytec I've been using that I think I've released the video, but it's doing a much better job holding a seal than this does. And I haven't tried the Novelure, whatever it is that's out. Interested, but not enough to buy it. Anyway, this is a Platinum Curidas. It did kind of dry out a little bit sitting there. It has a fine point nib in it. And the ink in it is Lamy Turquoise. This one does not have the excuse of being almost out of ink. This just dried up because I didn't write with it much this week. Okay. We're going to give her a little encouragement using a tissue on the side here. sometimes you can encourage them a little bit with a slightly moistened paper towel. You know, if the ink is kind of dried into the nib, sometimes that gets it going again. Sometimes that's not enough. Yep. Alright, so we're going to try option 2. Ha 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 ha. So we're just going to force a little ink down there. Not too much. Just enough. Let's see what we get out of that. Turquoise. Maybe? Maybe a little more forcing. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if I could see the nib while I do this and it wasn't hidden behind a garage door. Whoa! You didn't see that, but yipe. We've made a mess. That's what I was afraid of. And now that I think about it, why didn't I just remove the nib unit? Don't know, but now I know I'm probably going to clean this pen after I film this video. So it will not be in use next week. But turquoise. Lamy turquoise. Very nice turquoise color. Very nice, well-behaved ink. Yeah, so the platinum Curidas. If you noticed, I didn't film pens in use last week. It's been a week or two. Yeah, so I'm behind on my letter writing. I haven't used this pen much, and it did dry out during that time. And we're going to be cleaning it tonight. Okay, my next pen is supposed to have a slip and seal to it. This should prevent that happening, but I did do a video once about that slip and seal mechanism. Supposed to hold it for like a year and a half. I found that it didn't, although I was told I should have used cartridges, not converters, to prove the point. So whatever. Anyway, it's a Platinum 3776 with, I don't know, some kind of finish on it. It's supposed to look like rippling waves or whatever. I think they've gotten more and more elaborate with their finishes over the years. At one time I had every single one, but I no longer do. Oops, sorry. This isn't a medium nib. This is a soft medium nib. But anyway, I no longer have made any attempt at keeping up with the latest versions of this pen. Plus, they've gotten a lot more expensive since I started buying them. And that sort of sucked the fun out of it. So this ink in it is not platinum. It's Sailor Jentle Apricot. A very nice orange, which naturally, since it's a very nice ink, Sailor has discontinued it. But it's a very nice, bright, happy orange with some nice shading. And of course, I love the smell of Sailor inks. I do not love their ridiculous flat bottles, but I haven't bought Sailor ink in many years, but from what I understand, they are no longer using those bottles. They've gone to something much better. Okay, my next pen is just a plain, ordinary black pen, which happens to have bird poop on one end. And people always get offended when I say that, but you know, I think it's funny, so I keep saying it. Yes, it's got a bird splat because it is a Montblanc. This happens to be an older one. This is not a new one. This is from the 1980s, back when they were still using an ebonite feed. And I believe this is a medium nib, 14 karat. I don't know if they're 18 karat now or what. I have heard with the price of gold going up that some companies are going to 14 karat instead of 18 karat nibs. No word on what like Sailor's going to do with their 21 karat nibs. I'm pretty sure this is a medium nib, but we'll put a question mark just to cover myself. The ink in it is Atramentis. Red Roses. Probably not the best ink for a wet pen like this, because this is an ink that likes to spread in some papers. But on like Tomoe River paper, this is kind of a fun combination for letter writing. And the nib has kind of got that little stub-like thing going on. Yeehaw. Then we get to my Toes Penkala Goldy. So this is from behind the Iron Curtain. I like that design. We can see the seam in it, so I wonder if it's celluloid or if that's just an accidental thing. And of course it's Goldy. Unscrew it. A little less impressive once you unscrew it. Just a pretty generic Bach steel nib. But this is a Toes Penkala. So made in Croatia, which back then would have been part of Yugoslavia. The ink in it is a very decadent capitalist Herbin Lidete. Which is probably, out of all the brown inks I've used, probably about my favorite. I don't typically like brown inks. This one I do. Make of that what you will. So probably when I use up this bottle, I'll keep going through my bottles of ink, but once I get to the end of my brown, I think we'll be coming back to this one. There's the correct label. I apologize. Alright, and then we get to a fun pen. There was a brief period where I bought a couple of, I think they were Conklins. Anyway, Conklin made some lower cost pens that were kind of fun to try out. I haven't bought one in a long time. But I haven't kept any of the ones I bought except for this one, which theoretically measures how many words are left in the pen. So this is we should look at the nib. It's not the greatest nib of the pens I have, but it's perfectly serviceable. So we have the Conklin. Trying to remember what ink that is. Word gauge. I feel like I might have something in the pen because just going by what I've been doing with ink lately, I haven't been pulling out strange bottles. So I think it might be dissolving something that got kind of not properly cleaned out. But what I'm pretty sure it is another Herbin, J. Herbin. And this one is Bleu Myosotis. A blue that I really like. Will it be the blue when I use up all of my bottles of blue ink? Or is there another blue that has stolen my heart? Well, you'll just have to stay tuned to the channel when I use up all my blue ink and find out, won't you? But anyway, it is a very attractive blue. It came in an awful heart-shaped bottle that I couldn't get most of my pens into. But I have decanted it into an Akkerman bottle, which works a lot better. Then we get to my Lamy All-Star. I used to own a Lamy All-Star and a Lamy Safari. The Safari was coral colored, but I left it at school and it disappeared one summer. Probably because of its bright color. I don't know. I'm not particularly in love with this. Not anti, but not particularly in love. So it didn't break my heart when the pen disappeared. And I do own another Lamy Safari that didn't go to school. Actually, it is at school. But anyway, yeah, it's not a pen that excites me one way or the other. So this is De Atramentis. Violet, which is a scented ink. And I am trying to remember from my childhood if violets are scented, because they don't seem to grow wild where I live here in North Dakota. And I honestly don't remember if they have a scent or not. Of course, when I lived on the East Coast, I often had a runny nose because of allergies, so there is that. Now that I live where it's almost a desert, well, I don't have allergies anymore. To make other trades, of course. My last pen, which I inked up this week, is this Platinum Izumo. Just a beautiful, beautiful pen. This isn't the best lighting to appreciate it, but this is the best camera I've ever put it on to appreciate it. And it's supposed to be modeled after some kind of a temple ceiling. And the name of it's escaping me at the moment, but anyway, it has a President nib. You can no longer buy the Platinum President, at least here in the U.S. I have been told that it is still sold in Japan. Anyway, mine is a... when I'm zoomed like that, it doesn't really want to stay on focus, does it? But anyway, I had my nib. I got a coarse. It's a Platinum Izumo. And I had mine ground to a cursive italic. So coarse is their double broad. My battery's about to run out, but I think we're okay. The ink in it is Akkerman, so if this breaks off suddenly, that's because the battery died. Groenmarkt Smaragd. If the battery dies, I'll just stop. And, you'll have to just look at the picture. Because I do post a picture with each of these videos. But anyway, I love this nib. It's got the great platinum feel. It's very stubby. Not, well, I was supposed to do diagonals there, but now you can see what I mean. The oblique test, it's... But yeah, there's a big difference between horizontal and vertical strokes. And it's very sharp because it's a cursive italic. It's more than a stub. But anyway, those are the pens and inks I've been using this week. And we're just going to work around the smear, and I think the battery lasted. So let's look at my face while the battery dies. So those are the fountain pens and inks I've been using this week. I just want to mention I have about this much, if you can see it, because I can't really tell from my preview. I have about this much Omas black left to use up. So I'm thinking one or two more pens and we'll be done with that bottle of ink and we can get back to the Lamy 2000 maybe for the last 2 months of school. So excited about that. In other exciting news, yes, I wrote stuff down. We have been having some warmer weather. I had a brief back to the cold here on Friday, but warmer weather. I've been walking and running outside in the morning, so that is a wonderful change, even though it's, thanks to the time change, it's now dark at that time, but it's a nice change, so I will deal with it. I got to thinking, I had the chance to go somewhere. I had a couple of days I could have, and I didn't. But it made me think, to go somewhere, I want to go to like Bismarck or Rapid City or something. Why? Is it to shop? In this era of online shopping, what really does a city have to offer? Okay, I prefer to shop at a local business over online. It's fun to browse a used bookstore and just be surprised. I have a book review coming soon. That I found the book in a used bookstore. I'd never even heard of it before. So that's kind of fun. But, I got to thinking the main thing a city really offers now with this online shopping is maybe its experiences more than the shopping. Maybe it's the chance to go into a different restaurant or visit a museum or whatever. And as the retail market changes, I'd be interested to see what happens with that. This isn't a fully fleshed out idea, but I'd love to hear your comments about that down below. I live in a town of 1,500. The only reason I have a downtown in a town this small is because we are so far away from anything at all. I may have just figured out part of why I'm so dark in this video. But anyway, it's just I'm so far away from everything that's why I have a downtown to shop in at all in my town. You know, it's limited, but it's there. And it's like 90 miles to the nearest Walmart. More than that, probably to... I don't even know where the nearest Starbucks is, so I'm not even going to try to guess. At least 90 miles, maybe more. But anyway, kind of out there. And yeah, it really... sometimes you just get that cabin fever thing. And in the winter, it's not like we're going out of town to go hiking because it's cold. So... yeah, sometimes it's just that desire to get out and get away, to get somewhere else, see new people, see new places, just do something that's not your normal everyday. So, that brings me to experiences versus stuff. The other thing I just briefly wanted to mention, we'll see if I can find the video again, but I found a video I mentioned a while back I'd seen on all these fountain pen sites, this buy now, pay later scheme, where you can make interest-free payments on your fountain pen purchases, so you spread it out instead of paying for it all at once. You spread it out over 4 months or whatever. And at the time I thought, well, don't do that. If you can't pay for it outright, maybe don't do it. No, not maybe. Don't do it. But even if you can spread it out, why would you? What is the advantage to you? Well, I couldn't come up with one. I can come up with advantages to the companies doing this, because it means, well, first of all, people buy more. And second of all, they tend to buy... oh, there's enough people that don't pay on time. And I'm guessing if you're spreading it out and you're using a credit card, you're still paying the interest on it over that time. So... anyway, I didn't want to delve into that too deeply, so I linked to the video in my video description, so check it out. The guy, he's interesting. He reacts a lot. He collects a lot of video clips and then reacts to them, and he's reacting to this buy now, pay later thing. My real topic I wanted to get into was your superpower that you may or may not have and kind of develops with age. And that's your attention. So, as teachers, we are often told that kids have the attention span of about 1 minute per year of their age. On average, if they're really engaged, they may be able to give you more. Some kids are the exception one way or the other, but in general, 1 minute per year of age. So, a 7-year-old can focus on something for about 7 minutes. 13-year-old can focus for 13 minutes. An 18-year-old can focus for about 18 minutes. And somewhere in there, there's it kind of levels off, and you're just not getting anything more with your age, because a 90-year-old doesn't necessarily have the ability to focus on something for 90 minutes. So it brought me to this article, which I wish I had kept a copy of it, because I would love to link down below to it, but it's one of those that I read and thought, oh, that's a cool story, and never able to find it again. But it was about somebody talking about their grad school experience, and they had a colleague, another grad student, a fellow grad student, who seemed to hardly ever come to the lab. They'd show up on Wednesdays, is what they said, work on Wednesdays, and then disappear again. And yet they managed to get everything done. And what this person was getting at is that this gentleman, who, I think it was a gentleman, I can't remember the gender, it doesn't really matter, but they, when they were there at the lab, they weren't hanging out with the other grad students, they weren't socializing, they weren't, let's go get another cup of coffeeing. They were focused, and I'm here, I'm going to do lab now, I'm going to focus on lab, and I will do nothing but lab, and then I will go home. And so with that narrow attention, that focus, they were able to accomplish a lot. And so what I'm getting at in this video is that this ability to pay attention is a superpower that you have. And the better you're able to focus, the stronger your superpower. You know, you've seen me in some videos going, oh, what's going on out there? If I hear a loud noise, of course, I'll be distracted. But that's limiting your superpower. I had a colleague a few years ago who, at the end of school, would come to my room and talk 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 and talk, and you couldn't get rid of him. Normal social cues like, well, I better get back to work now, wouldn't work. The guy wasted so much of my time, and he wasted other people's time. It was a nightmare, and just couldn't respond to normal social cues. You know, okay, come waste 5-10 minutes. I will sacrifice that for normal social reasons, but wow, he just wasted time. And I really started to resent him. I would find ways to hide or to work in my storage room so he wouldn't know I was there. Because even the shut door thing was not enough to get rid of him. And it didn't help that I was also dragged into coaching speech for a year, which is not my strength, but total side issue, except it relates to the story. So I was giving up a lot of free time for doing this speech coaching thing, which I don't know how to do. And this guy would waste my time, and I hated that. I've had other colleagues that will waste my time that I just resent it. I'll try to find a way to disappear when I know they're going to come by, which I guess still wastes time, but not as much as they would if they came into my room. But it just floors me how some people have just this stunning ability to waste their time and to waste other people's time. I have some colleagues that will come in. In fact, can I say this? Do I dare say this? The grandmother of one of my colleagues asked me why her granddaughter spent so much time in the summer at school. You know, she says, do you? And I said, no, I try to avoid the place. I go in once a week to water my plants, and that's about it. And I, had to admit, well, the problem is your grandchild talks and visits and doesn't get anything done, and that's why they're there all summer. So you've got this superpower ability to pay attention if you can do it. I've worked with students for a number of years. You know that I do Science Olympiad at my school. I'm now co-advisor, which is another story, but you would arrange a special late practice just for some kids who've had trouble getting into practice. And then first thing, we need snacks. So somebody has to go get snacks, and we need a drink, and my brain is so fried, and I'm there like, I could be home right now, and I'm here, so you can waste not just your time, you can waste my time too. So that was always very frustrating. It's like if you've ever seen the movie Up, it's about the guy with the house and all the balloons. But there is a dog in it that's constantly going, squirrel! Because he gets distracted by just about anything. So the moral of that story is, if you're easily distracted, it's hard to get things done. And I know working with kids that is a thing you have to deal with, because you're dealing with younger minds and so on that don't have the practice of focusing on things, but oh my gosh, some of them, it's just so frustrating, They just cannot focus. And especially when it's an extracurricular, it's just like, why are you here if you can't do anything? So that's something that hopefully we're teaching them in school, is how to focus. But Cal Newport who's an author I've reviewed on this channel a few times, and hopefully will be again soon, has discussed that very topic a number of times. He's written books like Focus and Digital Minimalism, and I think, what's his latest one? Slow Productivity. And he discusses how our ability to focus on a task is becoming more and more rare and more valuable. Which, yeah, I would say I am seeing it in the classroom. The students' minds are different now from what they were when I started teaching. And people will say, well, I can multitask. I have had students literally tell me, we'll get into the cell phone thing here in a minute, but literally tell me that, well, I can multitask. I can check Facebook. Well, the kids don't do Facebook, but whatever the social media thingy is, and pay attention to you. Well, no, you can't. You think you can, but you can't. So I need to do I'm feeling like this has got to turn into a driving video with some actual sources and references, but we'll go with this for now. But that's what Cal Newport is getting into with a lot of his books, is all these things are disrupting you. Other things can disrupt you in the environment, chaos. Some of my kids go home to a chaotic home environment where they cannot do homework. It is impossible. Dad's coming home drunk, older brother's shooting up in the bedroom, loud noise. Oh, I don't know actually where we're going to sleep tonight. Or I do know where we're going to sleep. You're sleeping on the couch because we just have this awful place we're living temporarily till we move again. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to eat tonight because kind of short on cash. You know, I worry about a little bit of clutter around interfering with my productivity. Some of my students are going home to hell. And yeah, get that homework done. How do you focus in that? And then, of course, there's the gorilla in the room. Right now it's on my face. I honestly don't like the interface of the cell phone. The screen is too small. I can't work with it. I cannot type quickly on it. I don't like reading off of it. Even now that I have these, I don't like reading off of it. It is awful. But the cell phone and social media in general, because even if you're not on a cell phone, you can still get on it, is very addictive. Now, a lot of schools have done what my school has done, and they've banned them. They've just said, nope, can't have them in the classroom. Now, we all know, unless you're really just incredibly naive. Sorry, I'm just checking time because that camera quits if I let it go too long. So I'm not distracted. Well, I am distracted, but I'm not getting off topic here. But I know they all are carrying them in their pockets because they can't be away from it. They feel that vibration in their pocket because, of course, they turn off the ringers, but they gotta know. And I gotta go to the bathroom real bad because I gotta check my cell phone. Or they'll try to sneak it under the desk. You know, it's a huge distraction. And I know people have made the argument that, well, kids have to learn how to manage this distraction. So, shall we say, let 5-year-olds start drinking alcohol because, you know, they gotta learn it's out there in the real world? Or do we introduce it to them in age-appropriate ways? That's where I'm at with the cell phone. You don't need it till you're older. And when you need it, maybe you don't need a full-fledged cell phone. You just need something simple that will call a set group of phone numbers, and that's it. You know, you just gradually get them into the thing because they can't manage the distraction, and it's so portable and convenient. And I wrote, sorry if I'm not wearing my glasses, I gotta hold this away from my face. But I wrote some of the things down. First of all, people don't realize how much time they spend on the cell phone. I kind of like mine gives a weekly report on the time in the cell phone. And it's usually in the double digits of minutes. So that means less than an hour on the cell phone during the week. Fortunately, when I'm using it for stuff like this, like YouTube, where it's just operating camera, it doesn't count that as time online on the cell phone, but otherwise I might be in trouble. Or listening to The Economist apparently doesn't count. But anyway, people are always shocked by how much time they spend on the cell phone. And a lot of these social media apps are designed to be addictive. They have what they call continuous scrolling, which means when we're twittering, but anyway, Twitter is continuous scrolling, and you never come to the end. So, on a app where we're at the end of the list, okay, done, time to get back to work. Twitter doesn't give you that. And a lot of them have gotten that way. Facebook has gotten that way. And I found if I want to read that one, but I'm going to just scroll on a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to it. Oops, it's gone. Yeah, they want you sucked in there. And then some people do what they call doom scrolling, where they're just, this bad stuff. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Oh, my gosh. Bad, bad, bad. And they're sucked in. And a lot of them, like Twitter, sorry, I don't care, will have an algorithm that rage baits. It's what's the most outrageous thing? What's going to get the most eyeballs? That's what we're going to pop up there. Not focusing on what did your people you follow post most recently. I will credit Blue Sky. Apparently their algorithm is more time-based, so it's more what are the people you follow, what did they post most recently. But yeah, what's getting the most eyeballs? And of course, it's not the reasoned discussions, it's the crazies that are getting the eyeballs. So that brought me to a question, which, again, that's something I want to do some driving video time on. What do a lot of these creators of these social media are fathers and mothers with kids of their own. So how do they approach it with their own kids? Well, it turns out a lot of them don't want their kids on the product that they make and that they make their money off of, because they know how addictive and how bad it is for their kid. It's your kids they don't care about. Your kid is just a product. In fact, if you're getting something for free, that's usually a hint you are the product. You're the product of this video. Because, the advertising that played at the beginning, and I don't do advertising in the middle, even though I'd make more money doing YouTube that way. The advertising at the beginning and at the end, and that's over there at the side of the screen, right now probably. You're the product. YouTube is making money off of you. That's why I can post this video for free. And hey, YouTube can track me too, because now they know what kind of videos I make. So, that's a hint of the kind of thing he's interested in. So, you are the product for Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram, and whatever else is out there. Google. You're the product. So, just to wrap this up, because again, I feel like I need to do a more researched version of this, but I just been dealing with some things with a few kids at school that just made me think about this. Your ability to focus and pay attention to a task and see it through to completion, even though you might want to do something else, or even though there might be other things going on, is your superpower. And the better you can do that, the stronger your superpower is, the more things you can get done. So I would just challenge you to use your superpower and use it for good. Develop your superpower and just develop that ability to pay attention. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. And if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And feel free to comment down below about any of the topics I brought up, especially the ability to pay attention, or the addictive nature of social media, or what are the other distractions out there that keep us from being productive. Let us know down in the comments. And hey, I briefly brought it up, and it might be a topic to develop later. What is the advantage of going to shop in a larger town now, when you can shop online? Let us know that down in the comments. So, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.